Everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest is Jennifer Macdonald, and we're so excited to be talking to you about discovering your true north. And we would totally love if you could say in the comments as you're jumping on to Be Live, if you can see and hear us, very good, because Be Live was a little bit glitchy again today, and we had to play with it a little bit, so we want to make sure that you're seeing and hearing us clearly. Just so we have all the technology working really well for us. And Jen's going to be sharing this out from her page because I don't have her tagged in it like I usually do, because the scheduled broadcast kind of self-destructed as we got everything working on both of our ends, headsets and all that stuff. So that was really fun and interesting this morning. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff about speaking your truth, how you can follow your own true north, your inner compass, how that looks like and feels like for different people, how you can find your own path, because we're all so unique and individual. So all of our paths are going to look and feel unique and individual to every one of us. So I'm so excited to be talking about that. And we'll say hey to everyone popping on live. And Christy says, hello, you sound great. Awesome. And do you see both of us? Because on her side, she looks like it's lower for her. So we want to make sure that it's not just showing the love on her shirt, although the love on her shirt is awesome to like maximize. But we want to make sure you can see and hear both of us very clearly. So thank you, Christy, and I hope you're having an awesome day so far. And Kim says, very good. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And definitely say hi to us as you're popping on Be Live. We can't see you as you pop in. You have to say hi, even if you're catching the replay. You can also say hey on the replay. I love catching up with you guys and seeing who's tuning into these. And I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess, a speaker, healer, and coach, and I love empowering women to get to their dream happy lives through self-love and self-care and sexual empowerment. And I'm so excited that last Friday night, I finally launched Bliss, because I've been talking about From Broken to Blissful and all the different things that have been coming through on that. And then I keep getting new downloads and content and stuff, and I started channeling a book about it. So I'm like, I need to just like create a private Facebook page so that like my family members can't randomly like pop on my Facebook lives publicly, like a Facebook community just for women. So we have like a soul sisterhood in there where we can talk about all things self-love, self-care, sexual empowerment, and all those things that we feel called to talk about in a safe, nurturing, loving space. And I'm so excited to talk more about my experiences from my journey and talk about more healing experiences that I've had and recommendations and books and do healings in there. I'm super excited for all of that. And then Christy said, yep, I see you both. Awesome. That's so good to know. So I'm definitely going to put in the comments after the show, Bliss. So that's just for women, sorry, men. I totally have guy friends who are into mentorship and coaching and all that stuff for healing wounded masculine and for getting into really healthy masculine and stuff like that. But this community Bliss is just for women on their journeys. So I'll definitely put that in the comments afterwards. And I'm so excited to announce that From Broken to Blissful, that masterclass that I've kind of been teasing in my Facebook Lives, is going to be February 11th. So that's going to be a Monday night. And I'll also put the link to that event in the comments after the show as well. And I'm so excited for that because it is going to talk a little bit about my journey from broken to blissful. And I've talked a little bit about it on my private Facebook page around, I totally thought that I was broken. Like I was even doing all this personal development stuff, like at Tony Robbins UPW, and he's like, no one's broken. And I'm like, totally get that. It's our limiting beliefs. It's this bullshit stuff that's like gone on in our lives and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm physically broken. Like I'm not getting wet enough for sex. Like I'm not having orgasming. Like I thought that as a woman, I was broken, that there must be something wrong with my vagina. And like, I was so ashamed of it, so insecure about it. I made like the couple friends that I would ever talk to about it, like pinky promise that they would never tell another soul. So I wanted to create a really safe space and community for women who have gone through the same kind of things. Like there's so many women who have similar life experiences to me and don't have the resources or connections or the networks to get into to find the healing modalities or journeys or different pieces or exercises that'll support them. So I really wanted to help everyone get their feet wet, at least with From Broken to Blissful. And then I'm going to go into a deeper dive with select women into like a 3-month program. So I'm like ridiculously excited about this because it was coming through all last year and I was not at the place mentally where I was like, I can totally release these fears around publicly doing this with my people instead of privately with clients. So I'm super excited to be launching all of this year and that it's lining up with February. So it's like the month of love and like super self-care and all this stuff. So I'm so excited about that. And hey to everyone else popping on live. We have more people joining on Be Live. So definitely say hi as you're joining us. And the Love and Light Show is all about connecting you with different light workers and healers and incredible spiritual, heart-centered entrepreneurs who are here to help you on your journey so you can be a better version of yourself. So you can get different tips and tools and modalities and experiences that will support you right now on your healing journey, and that will help you be a better mom or a wife or a sister or a brother or whatever you are in this world, so you can be that change that you want to see in the world and have more love and space and capacity for you to show up and be that person that you want to be and shine your light and make the world a better place, how you feel called to do it. And I'm so excited to have Jen on today. She's the founder of Abundant Thinkers Education and Wellness Center. And I'm so excited for her experience at the end today because I love dancing, and we're going to do a letting go of process with some writing and dancing in it. So I'm super excited for that. Definitely tune in. And if you feel that other people in your life need some support in finding their true north and like focusing on their truth and their path and need to get into this energy in their life, I highly recommend that you share it with them or copy and paste the link and send it to them privately if you feel more called to do that, so that the people who need this message can get it. So thank you so much for coming on today live, Jen. And hey, everyone else popping on live. Hi, Melanie. Hope you're having an awesome day. So thank you, Jen. And how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. So thank you very much for having me on. And, technology, and rolling with the punches.
Yeah, I'm not and I'm like, it'll work eventually. We have all the backup plans. It'll
oh
get
my
there.
goodness. Like the old me would have been like, okay, well, it's not meant to happen. Let's just put it on, box it and move on. And yeah, so I'm kind of coming at it with a new vision, and we're making it work, and it works. So hello, everybody.
Awesome. So do you want to give everyone a bit of a background on you, what Abundant Thinkers is, what you're doing now, all the great stuff that you have coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a teacher by trade, elementary school teacher trained. And so I lived in Alberta, moved to New Brunswick, didn't get a job, ended up getting married, and 4 weeks later realizing we are pregnant with our first child. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends. Just did the, stay at home mom thing for a while, and then got bored and needed something to do. Got my child into programs, but we live in rural New Brunswick where there wasn't a whole lot. So then I decided, okay, well, I'm a teacher, so why not, come up with my own programming? And so I ran that for about 5 years, made my own preschool. It was very different and alternative. It was wonderful. And we had another baby in the process, and I was able to stay home with my kids and just really grow as a human being, right? Being a mom sure definitely tests so many different things. And yeah, I just grew in a different way. And we were selling our house anyways. The business ended up closing. And so then I was sitting in that transition state. Like, what is this or something better? What is this better thing? So I've been supply teaching, and I've been doing the Discover Your True North. So I've been doing the journey of going inward and doing the work and figuring it out and listening to my intuition. I've taken Akashic Records courses, aligning. I want to be the best version of myself so that I am the best version for my kids, for the kids I teach. And then I realized, we're the most authentic when we're first born, when we have, kids have it together. That's what I've learned with the preschool. They have it in spades. They get it. And then all of a sudden the world chips you and chips you and chips you. And then you're stuck at a place, after being and you're like, I have lost myself. And I just got talking to so many different moms who are like, you're mom, and there's no Jen identity anymore. And I didn't have goals, and I was like, that's not okay. So my goals became, well, I'm just going to watch my kids grow up, and that's my life. That wasn't okay with me. Like, I needed my own career again. And so I really started looking back inward and connecting to this person and to this soul, and realizing mom is just one of the hats that I have.
Yes.
But where did Jen go, right? So I think Discover Your True North is heading in the direction of We need to lead by example, that we don't conform, and we need to teach our children the tips and the tricks so that they don't get the chips knocked out of them, that they're still who they are at the end of the day, whether they're mom, dad, university degree, it doesn't matter, but that essence of who we are just never leaves us.
I love that so much. And I feel like so many people can resonate too, because people do have all these identities and then they have to like have a breakdown or like their 50s crisis or something. And then they're like, I need to know who I am, versus just being like, who I am is okay. Let's not put on all these labels and let go of all these things that were important to me to conform. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'm realizing too in this process is like who I am now is going to be different than who I was pre-children, because I had more experiences too, right? And it is okay wherever I'm at, as long as I'm true to loving myself and being in my heart center.
And Christy's totally agreeing. She said, I've watched this happen with all my kids. They change as the world gets to them. They change. Mm. And Gwen popped in. Hey, Gwen, hope you're having an awesome day. So how do you help people with the process of letting go of some of that stuff that's not serving them and getting back to who they are and following that purpose?
And connecting back to the earth, because, and this is something that I teach to the children all the time, like when we do an art activity, I ground them down to Mother Earth. She's got all the answers, and you just got to let that like bubble up inside of you and what wants to come out, right?
Yeah.
But somehow we lose that connection to the earth. So the preschool that we had was all this connection to the outdoors, and as you see, as we go through school, you're inside at a desk, you're at your job at a desk, like everything, we just have lost that connection to the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that, and especially in winter, because I'm more apt to go outside in warmer climates. So I even want to like travel and be like that snowbird thing that I think you posted about a while ago. Let's just like go everywhere that's warm during winter, so we can go outside again barefoot.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we have a lot of windows in our house. So, you know, in winter, I don't get out as much. But as long as I have the nature, like we live in a forested area and I can see it and I can smell it, and I bring the oils in, and I bring the nature inward. It's not me standing barefoot on a beach by any means, but it's the best that you can do in winter. And I think if you can do that, and just keep connecting down into the Mother Earth. That's part of it too. Like if you're in your house, we have wood floor. So I put my feet on the wood floor and allow that energy to come through.
Awesome. So beautiful. I love that. I've definitely been doing that a lot since 2019 hit. I'm like, I need to be more energized. So I like open the windows, close them really quick, but I get more fresh air in. I'll just use more oils. I'll have like the blinds open to get the sunlight. So I love that so much. So definitely do that, guys. Break this down. Start like you want to get a little bit more grounded, and you'll find more ways to get more grounded. Which are, there's even like grounding mats and stuff that can help you kind of connect and center a little bit better if you're in like a very hectic headspace. So that might help you as well.
Eating more nuts, eating more stuff that comes from the earth, right? Like that all helps.
Very true. I love it. So if someone's like scared to speak their truth, how do you help them go to their heart? What are the ways that you can get in there a little bit more?
Oh yeah. So writing is the best way. If you, because you talk about like how you said it to your 3 friends and you're like, don't tell anyone.
Yes.
Writing to me is the best way, because no one has to see it, because you can burn it and then nobody sees it, right? And it is a place, and I was a writer since like the time could write, and just kept diaries after diaries, and I don't keep them. They actually are all burnt.
Oh, wow.
Because they're for my private development, and once it's let out and dealt with, like I don't feel like I need to revisit that space in my life anymore. So you have to have an outlet, whether it is artwork or writing or telling someone. It has to come out. And this is what I always tell people: you can walk through the fire today when the fire is small and manageable, or you can walk through it when it is out of control and harder. But the thing is, you have to walk through it sometime.
Yeah.
So you have to find an outlet that you can hold on to, a tool, anything that you can hold, talking to the angels to help you through it. You have to go through it. And once you're through it, you have to keep going through things. Like, it doesn't ever stop, but you do have to, like, you know, and that's where I call it, you have to do the work. But if you're scared, writing is so super easy because you can be honest, and not easy at first, because I will admit, when I started doing this process, you're like, I'm just going to put down this. And then you're like, well, that's not really the truth. But you're so afraid to put the actual thing because you're afraid to say it. You know, if you say, like, I don't like my kids, oh my God, like, that even on paper, you're like, is someone watching? Is someone going to read this? Like, you know, it's that scary thing. But the moment you do it one time, that's all it's going to take. It's like opening the floodgates, and you're like, I'm just going to, like, get it all out there. And yeah, and then there's no stopping. Once you do it once, once you have that courage to do it once, you're good. And I do that with pretty much everybody in my life. You know, my best friend the other day, she was like, I know I can say this stuff to you because there's no judgment. I'm like, no, there is no judgment with me, because I don't want anyone to judge me. I'm not judging you. I could care less what's going on in your head. You got to say the truth. You got to say it. Not for me. I don't care that you're telling me, but you have to say it for yourself to release yourself from the prison you're keeping yourself in.
100%. I completely agree. And Gwen said, writing is a great way to discover your truth. And yes, nobody has to see it but you. Yet the info helps us get clarity. Totally agree. And I even, like, I hated writing at the beginning. And some people recommend doing voice memos and just, like, acting like you're talking to a friend on the phone to, like, get it out and then delete it. Like, if you need to listen to it back and be like, oh my God, I'm so victim-y there. Like, there's this, and, like, I didn't think about it until I said it. Like, you can totally find the answers within you in so many ways. And it's interesting how sometimes we, like, talk to someone else, even about, like, random, like, surface level problems. And it's like, I just figured it out just by saying it out loud. Like, so that to a bigger scale on your healing journey when you're writing it down and taking the time. Like, I've had times where, like, I'm all of a sudden super sad and I'm like, oh my God, like, or watching a movie or something. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense why I'm this triggered about this. That I'm like, okay, I get a piece of paper out and I'm like, so I'm sad about something and don't really want to go into it, but we're going to start writing it down and see what comes out. And then it, like, just flows out of me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I needed that so much, even though I totally resisted it at the beginning. And sometimes half of the page is just me being like, and, like, I'm kind of starting to cry now. And, like, I hate this feeling, but, like, I need to go deeper into this. And, like, I just do random stuff on these random pages, and then I rip it up, but it helps and it heals.
And it really is, because the thing is like, you're keeping it in your body. And if you're not saying it, it's just there. It's in your body. You're getting sick. You're getting angered. But if you release it, and then that's where the dancing comes in, because okay, you can release it and you can burn it, but you also have to get it out of the muscles and out of where it's holding in your body and let that crap go. Like, just get rid of it, because it's not serving anybody.
Yes, I completely agree. And then Leanna's joining us. Love voice memos. Woo! Awesome. And one thing that I love, and I'm pretty sure Brene Brown talked about it, was about numbing. Like, if you're going to numb out to the bad, you're numbed out to the good. So whenever I lean into something harder or deeper or more painful, I'm like, I'm going to get so much more joy and bliss and euphoria on the other side. So hell yes, I'm going to keep going. Like, the other side of it has been worth it 1,000,000% every single time I do this work. So sometimes, especially with newer people, they're like, oh my God, but, like, it hurts so much. And if they've been numbed out or in any way that they've been numbing out in their life and they don't want to face it, like, one little baby step at a time is all it takes. Like, you don't have to go 1,000,000 miles in one day or one sitting. Like, you can just be like, baby step by baby step, feel a little bit into that bad to feel a little bit more into the good.
Oh yeah. And then when you take the moment and you're on the mountain and you look behind you and you see all the ashes of all the fires that have been put out, you're like, wow, that is gone now. That is gone. And it just gets clearer and clearer as you go up the mountain, right? And there are going to be more fires that you're going to have to pick, or like more challenges. But when you have to, and like Leanna taught me this too, is that you have to look backward to see how far you've come.
Yes. Yeah, reflecting on things is incredible. And I find, especially as a seeker and my other seeker friends, we tend to be going after the next mountains so often. Like, I got to my dream happy life and quit my job and was moving towards coaching and stuff, and then discovered masculine and feminine energy. And that I like had all the stuff that I had to heal from being in my masculine so much, and starting to receive and getting into my feminine stuff. And I remember when I got to that top of that mountain and I'm like, oh, there's this other one right here. Like, I just cry. Because I'm like, really? But it was so interesting because after years of doing this work, looking back, it's like, wow, I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that. And it's just like one day at a time is how I did it. And it wasn't like huge, massive action steps every single day. Like, I'm into Tony Robbins and sometimes I do massive action. Sometimes it's just one little baby step and it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and playing that dance with it as I grow and develop and find what my individual path looks like. Because I don't want people to get into the like negative side of spirituality where it's now like kind of becoming its own like religion of like, well, if you don't drink a green drink and have like and are against coffee and are super vegan and like meditate for 2 hours a day and do yoga and all these things, like it's like, if you don't do this, we're gonna like separate you because then you're a bad spiritual person. It's like everyone's spiritual journey is happening right now. Like, even if they're like not looking like they're spiritual at all, everyone has a piece and part and role to play, and they're all going at their own speed. So it's like so unique and individual to us. And that was a big thing for me to like really integrate, was that everyone's spiritual journey and path is going to look so different, and it's all so unique and beautiful and incredible and amazing, and exactly what has to happen. Like, it's totally divine timing. So that's also very important, I feel like, especially in discovering your true north, not someone else's, not the guru, not the author that you really look up to. It's your individual truth.
Oh, absolutely. And we talk about in the group too, and Leanne also taught me, is it's also to be okay in not doing anything and just being in the moment and being okay with where you're at today, and not having, you see the other mountain over there and you're like, yep, I'm just gonna take a break because it took a lot to get up to this bloody mountain. I'm out of breath. I need like just a moment. I see you. We'll get there. I know I can tackle you too, but I have to build that stamina.
Yeah.
Because you know the next steps are going to take a lot out of you again. And you just have to replenish. So replenishing with good food and replenishing back into the people that support you. And even taking those, like I've been doing the tidying up thing with Marie Kondo, but I've also been tidying up people in my life. And I've been tidying up my emails and tidying up this because, you know, I'm at this level and I'm in a holding pattern right now. And that's never okay with me. But I'm learning to love that holding pattern because it gives me more strength. I'm gaining the strength to tackle the next thing that's coming.
And I feel like that's super valuable too. Like, guys, whatever you resist persists. So like, as soon as you love it, it'll be good. Like, I found that in relationships and dating and whatever, whenever I'm just like ridiculously in love with my life and I'm like, oh, everything's amazing here, like everything's just flowing and like I'm perfectly happy, then all these other things that I was desiring before are just here, and it's way more easy and joyful because it's just there, versus me really wanting it and like needing it and that kind of energy, versus just being like, everything is incredible and I'm grateful for everything right now, and then this just works.
And it's a lot easier. And you get to the point, like I feel like, you know, like we talk about the mountains, but you have a different mindset. You have different tools that you're like, it's not as hard as the first mountain, as the second mountain. It's like, you know, when you're working out, the first day is horrible. Then you get to like day 14 where you're like, I just want to eat all the sugar and I want to give up. But you know that once you keep going, you know, you're going to get back. And it's the same thing with this discovering your true north. It's like other people are noticing you're losing friends. Oh shit, that's not feeling good. So there's moments you're going to regress. that is okay. You know, don't beat yourself up for that. And then tomorrow, yeah, you might have more energy tomorrow. So I'm really learning this year. My word is joy. And
Yay!
yeah. So I'm finding already 2019 is, challenging that word for me. And I'm really realizing there's a lot of gratitude needing for joy. And there's a lot, I just have to, a lot of staying in the moment and trusting. And there's all these things, but there's things coming in and conflicts, but I'm not reacting the same way that I normally would. So I know that there's the shift is coming and has happened, and it's not bothering me on a level that normally would. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're bringing so much attention to that transition stage, because it's so important in the process, and so many people try to like override it, and they get so frustrated with it instead of just being like, no, I need this. Like, I need to create space for my next level here. Like, I need to find the people who are my true soul family who will be supportive, and like everyone else who's judging me or isn't cool with this, like that's a blessing because they're showing me it, and they can leave my life for these new people. I know when I was going through it, it was the most terrible thing. And I was like, oh my God, I need love, and people don't love me. And like, who I'm going to be is like, I need to have all these different masks for these different people in my life, and corporate versus my friends here versus my spiritual friends now. And now I can just be me. And I actually made a post about that last night, being like, I can be me and like not wear makeup and not clean my house top to bottom and not do anything. And I know that my friends love me exactly who I am, and that it's completely safe to be true to me in my truth in the moment and be super authentic as I am, and not act a different way or pretend that I'm into something that I'm not, or show up to something that I have zero interest or excitement level about. Like, I don't need to do those things where I used to felt so compelled as a people pleaser to do all those things for all those old people who are occupying space in my life. So sometimes it's the biggest blessing to release and let go of those people, and having that long-term mindset of like, they're creating space. There's space that's being occupied in my life by people who aren't my vibration, who don't love me unconditionally, who aren't that highest best support system for me. So I'm creating space for these next level people. And then it feels a lot better when that kind of process of transitioning and clearing the old and getting into the new is happening.
Absolutely. And you have more energy, and you're not as sick, and and people will tell me, they'll see me, they're like, oh my goodness, you're the exact same way that you were on the computer as you. I'm like, yeah, you'll see me at the grocery store. I'll be the same at the library, and I'll be the same to my husbands and my kids. And like, I just don't hide it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to. I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not Shakespeare. I'm not like, donning all these characters.
Yeah.
I am this character, take it or leave it. And people don't always like that. And that was a big thing for me. Oh my God, somebody doesn't love me. Somebody doesn't like me. That was a hard one for me.
Yes. And then like these fears up level, because I know that a fair amount of people who watch this are also like light workers. They're afraid of shining their light. Like, they're older versions of me, so I get it. But that was a big thing for me in my personal life, and then in my business life, that has been a huge thing, because I wanted to serve and support the entire world. And I'm like, I have all these tools, modalities that literally, like, Reiki can heal anyone, like Theta can heal anyone, like all these things. I'm like, I can literally help everyone. And I didn't want to have haters or negative people or anything like that. And now I'm like, no, like, I'm here to serve and support my soul sisters in this way. And everyone else can go the fuck away. Like, everyone else can like just find their own person. And I'm now in a place where I'm like, no, I'm here to show up and support them. And everyone else has their unique mentor, healer, coach person that will help them. So I don't need to show up and be like a bland, tamed down, duller version of my shine to satisfy everyone versus just my people. So I love getting into that next level too.
Totally. And I think that was what was going on with the business too, is I was people pleasing, and it just tore off so much, like chipped away. And I was like, no. And so when I did fully stand in what I want, and people didn't want it, and I was like, well, then I'm done. Like, and I'm meant for something else, and I'm just gotta, yeah.
Yay! Love it. Did you want to get into that releasing and letting go process? Because we are talking about getting rid of all that old shit. And then
all the stuff.
to
Okay.
pay attention, to give yourself, I know that I'm super guilty of this too. I sometimes am being productive and listening to like videos or podcasts in the background, but give yourself this gift of this wonderful writing experience, dancing in it. It's going to be so fun, guys. And I'll let Jen take it away.
All right. So I'm going to try the music. I'm not sure if it's going to work because it's off of another computer and I may have to pull out my headphones.
Okay.
But the first one is free writing. That is scary for children. That is scary for adults. And as you were saying, it is writing the thoughts that are coming in your head. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable for me. I don't know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, as you're doing this, like this magic thing happens where like part of the higher you is getting pulled down from Father's sky, like from the ether. And then so there's like hidden gem messages that come out in this free write. So I like to do it to writing. And I'm usually, when I'm in the zone, I'm not high vibe. I am low vibe. There's a lot of emotions. So I like to match that with low vibe music because I want to get in the essence of that emotion that I'm feeling. Because in order to release it, you have to be in the emotion. And that is uncomfortable as anything. So I find that the music helps me set the mood, center this thing so that I can fully bring it onto the paper. So one of the ones that I like listening to from my university days, I don't know if this is going to work. Can you hear it?
I can hear you increasing your volume.
Okay. Let's see. It's called...
Now I can't really hear you. Okay, I'm hearing more music.
Anyways.
And now I can totally hear you talking, so that's good.
Okay, so it's called you can look out my window. It's called The Nothing Song. It's from the Vanilla Sky soundtrack.
Is that like the full blast it can go?
Yes, unfortunately.
We'll just have nice, soft background music. There, that's getting louder.
Getting louder. It's by Sigur Rós. Give you a little snippet. Yeah. So you can see, like it's pretty melodramatic. But it's just nice because it's, anyway, so I will use that as a free write. And I just get it all on paper and get the essence of the emotion. Can you hear me or should I plug back in?
I can totally hear you, so that sounds good.
Right. So from there, you're going to put that aside because you want to go back to that eventually to get those gems. But I'm talking like leave it for a week or two. Like don't even look at it. Like go back to it when the emotion is not in your, like even in your space. And you don't even have to go back to it if you don't want to. But I do just because I find the nuggets, right?
Yeah.
So that one I love doing just to release the junk because you can't just start writing from your higher self. You have to release the emotions and the junk. And when you do that and you release your ego from it, then now you can do the work. It's like you can't start your car in the winter without, having it running for a little while. You just can't go. You have to snow brush your car off and all that stuff. It's the same with your emotions that are coming up.
Yes.
From there, I do a meditation. So I will go into my Akashic records. And so I just close your eyes. And you're centering yourself. So this is where, like, if you're on the hardwood floor, take those socks off, put your feet down, and you're literally going to connect to the earth. You want to connect, and you're vacuuming through your feet. Your feet are like this vacuum cleaner, and you're pulling up all the liquid pink energy of Mother Earth. up through your legs and your knees, and just pull it up over every part of your body, pulling it up through your heart center, through your your throat chakra, all the way up to the crown of your head, and just breathe down. And you're going to do that a few times until your body is calm. Because when you release those energies and those emotions, some of them are so intense that it's going to take a little bit just to calm your body. When you feel like you're calm enough, you're going to pull the energy up through the top of your head, and you're going to pull it, pull. It's going to go through the universe, through the galaxies that we don't even know exist. And you're going to hit like an invisible force field. It's going to feel like a ceiling, and you think that you can't go any further because, that's our human ego. You actually can. And on your next breath, you're going to pull the energy all the way up and through the ceiling. And now you're within the Akashic Records. You're in Father Sky. You're in the ether. You're in the higher planes. And you're going to pull that energy down. Down, 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 down. And those two energies of Mother Earth and Father Sky are going to mix in your body. There will be a bubble that appears at your forehead. You're going to fill it with all your worries, all your doubts, any insecurities, any judgments that you have. You're going to close it, and you're going to sink that all the way down into the heart. The heart is the place where you want to make your decisions. It's where you want to live. You want to do a lot from this space. It's where your true north is. The true north, your compass. It's your heart. Calming your mind, calming your body. Release your ego. Get that thing gone. Say bye-bye, ego. I don't need you right now. Holding your hands out, calling the light into your hands, calling it into your body. And from this space, you're going to open your eyes. And it is this space, you're going to do this writing activity. You're going to, with your non-dominant hand, to trick your brain, you're going to write, what do you need me to know? What do you need me to know? And if you're having a situation, say for example, last week I was having a really hard time with my children and there was a lot of ego. So I will say, what is it that you need me to know about parenting my child or the situation that we were in? Then with your dominant hand, you're going to write the answer. Get a sense of what age you are. So like it could be a current thing. The thing that they need you to know may be something that happened when you're 2, when you're 4, when you're 14. Kind of get a sense of where you're at in life and what the situation is going on. And so just write. When you feel like you've written it all, center yourself back in a little meditation where you're just breathing up and down with your non-dominant hand. Is there anything else you need me to know? So it's like a toddler, okay? They come and ask, they tell you something, and then 2 seconds later, they need to tell you more. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, I'm not done with you yet, and like, I need to tell you some more. So that's what you're doing. You're giving the space to the age of whatever, like if it's a current situation. Most often than not, your current situation will be rooted back in your own life or a past life or a maternal lineage or paternal lineage, right? So it may not even be you. It may be something that's going on with other people around you. But allow it to come out and allow the whole story to come out. And then thank it. thank you so much for coming up and showing me the lessons. Thank you, because there's always going to be a nugget, and you're going to go,
Mm-hmm.
that was it. That was the thing. Wow, I thought I dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a judgment. So you'll eventually not judge yourself on like, but and if you do, just, thank you for that, and be grateful to say thank you so much. And I'm glad that you did that. And the other thing too is if you do want to do your writing to music, because that's what I do as well. I love writing to music. Bon Iver does one called Skinny Love,
Ooh.
and it's a good one. And I even just listen to it before I'm doing that activity. It kind of takes me back to my university days when I was more creative.
And I love that. Like, it's good for people maybe to think back to their super creative times in their life because we have so much emotion linked to music too.
Right?
Hmm.
And I like to listen to that sometimes when I'm in the gratitude stage, where I'm like,
Hmm.
being thankful, and I'm allowing that to wash all over me.
Yes.
Then I like to do a little burning party, and here's where the dancing part comes in.
Yay.
Hey, so because I have a wood stove, and like I said,
Awesome.
I don't need to see it again. And I've dealt with when I can see the nuggets and I highlight the nuggets and I'm like, I got it. Like, I feel like I've got it. Unless I feel like I need to look at it again, I'll keep it. But most often I don't. So I burn it. And I just, again, I'll say, thank you for coming in, showing me. And now I'm sending it and I'm letting this go. Please, universe, take it away.
Love it.
Okay. Then, because I love dancing, it's got to come out of
Hmm.
your body. So my favorite, keeping with the fire theme,
Hmm.
is by Walk Off the Earth, called Fire in My Soul. And
Yeah.
because I love, oh my God, like it's just got to come from the depths of your soul and just, oh, and it just so empowering. So find your empowerment song. This just happens to be mine currently.
Hmm. Love it. Everyone at home, no one can see you. You can dance it out too.
All right, so we will pause it there so we don't get deleted. But yeah, and then you feel lighter, you feel empowered. You're like, yeah, I can take on the world. Let's go. So
Yes.
bring it.
Woo! Love it. And I love making playlists that I do have that set up for me. Like I'm all about ease and joy, but then I still have like my logic accounting old mindset of like process improvement and make everything easy and better and stuff like that. So I like having playlists where I'm like, these are some songs that'll trigger me into crying if I need to do like get into writing or do a grieving ceremony. Like these are ones that like there's lines in there where I'm just gonna cry and have that set up and have your like pump up song set up so you can just go to them and have like YouTube has so many ways that you can like make your own playlist or you can find other people who have really cool playlists too, which is fun. There's so many different ways. There's Spotify, like find whatever works for you and like have that set up so when you need to do this work, it's just the easy, joyful process that you want.
Oh, absolutely. And then, like you said, having the playlist ready so that it's like, it also doesn't
Mm-hmm.
take as much time, right? You're like,
Yes.
plug, go, done. Yesterday, I set my whole entire family up because the other thing too is like I'm working with the moon cycles and whatnot too now, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing like after the full moon, there's things that come up. Well, there's also anger before the like clarity for me. So I sent my entire family out. I meditated, had my crystals, did the grid, had the oils because I have all my tools,
Mm-hmm.
put on the music, and did this process, and I felt there's so much clarity that came through yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this again.
Yes.
Rock on.
Love it. Yay. So how can people connect with you after the show? I know we could talk forever and ever about this stuff.
I
So how can
know.
they get that kind of support from you one-on-one or in your upcoming stuff that you're doing? How can they find you?
They can find me right now. You can find me on Facebook, so as Jennifer Macdonald, or you can come into the Discover Your True North group, which we can put
Mhm.
some links. I am coming up with some workshops that we do. Like,
Yay.
I have people in places, I guess, right? Like, that do theta healing, that do chakra bowls, and all the lovely stuff that go
Mhm.
really nice hand in hand with these writing things. So keep an eye out for them.
Yay.
I may do them online. They may be in person. I haven't quite figured it out. I'm just coming into all this and trying to accept that this is the new way to go.
Yay.
So,
Well, I love this
yes.
new path and this new light that you're shining. So thank you so much for doing the work to
Oh,
step into that. I understand the process and
it's a
all the
process.
effort.
It's a process. But thank you for having me on
You're
and getting me to
welcome.
step out of the comfort zone that I was in.
My pleasure. And definitely, I encourage you to put those links in the comments below so that other people can follow you, can get into that group. And everyone, like Jen's amazing, connect with the group. I've been in the group for a while now. She has really awesome, lovely posts that are like authentic and real. So if you want more of that depth and connection and truth in your life, that's a great, beautiful group to connect with for sure.
Perfect. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And definitely, I encourage you guys to tune into the Love and Light show every week. So it's at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. And I will also put into the links as well the link to the Bliss community. If you're a soul sister who wants all things self love, self care, and sexual empowerment and need more support on your healing journey for that. And then from Broken to Blissful, I'll also put the event description and link and stuff in there in the comments below. And that'll be in 2 weeks. So I'm so excited that I'm finally launching all these things because I've been in that pattern of holding and transition stage with all these things where I'm like, I have a million ideas and so many downloads and all this stuff. And it's like, how do I bring it in a clear way to my offerings of people right now? Awesome. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I encourage you guys to share it out with other people if they need support on their healing journey and finding their true north and feeling comfortable stepping into their truth. And whatever you feel called to do as your next baby step, don't judge it. Just let go and release those old things that aren't serving you and be like, this is just my breadcrumb. This is my inner compass following me to do this thing in this way, and that you can trust your heart, your soul, your higher self, God, the universe, whatever name you want to do it. Just like move forward for your next best step. Like, don't worry about the like 1,000-mile journey that you might be embarking on or how it's going to like look or all the different pieces that might or might not have to come into it. Just like follow your next step. Like that's how you're going to get there. So I encourage you guys to follow your true north and have an awesome week. So I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome, awesome week and that you take the time to do Jen's experience. Maybe even block it out in your calendar because I've had that happen before too, where I'm like, oh, I totally need to do that. And then like my ego's like, you don't have time. So even block it out in your calendar to have the time that you need to get into this stuff. That'd be really good too. So I'm sending you guys all so much love and light. And thank you, Jen, again for coming on today and sharing your wisdom and all your cool tips and tricks and that experience. I love it. I'm definitely going to block out time to go deeper into it too, because if you're connected to this episode, you probably need to do it. There's the universal sign that's maybe nudging you a little bit. There's no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. Awesome. So have a great week. Bye.
Bye.